Well, hello there, my fellow firearm autists. Today we are doing review part. It's a sick train in the background. You guys can probably hear that. Anyway, review part 2 on my 1022 tactical here, and I actually had a really hard time figuring out how to get this chassis off to be able to clean it, and I finally figured it out. So I will go ahead and break it down for you too. I've had a couple people request that, so I'll get that in here too. So my initial impressions on the gun from before competition, 2 months ago to today are pretty much the same, with the exception of cleaning it. I did not realize how big of a pain in the ass it would be. But as far as just, manual of arms, reliability, accuracy, everything, it was pretty much exactly what I expected, exactly what I had gone over in that previous review. So if you want a little more in-depth review of the gun, manual of arms, everything, go look at that. Accuracy was pretty good. At 50 yards, I shot pretty much consistently right about an inch group throughout the competition. The 1 week where it was a true accuracy test, you needed to be really accurate. For whatever reason, the gun decided to open up, and I was shooting like 3-inch groups that day. It really, I managed to pull it out. I managed to sacrifice that round, but that was a weird one. But for the most part, though, the gun is very accurate as expected. I never had any jams. Granted, I always lube the gun every week before competition. I carry some hops gun lube in my range bag. I oil it every time. But it's a 1022. That's expected. I don't know that I've ever seen a 1022 jam in the thousands and thousands of rounds I fired. So did exactly what it was supposed to. It was accurate. I had mentioned that I was a little nervous about this plastic. Well, the plastic chassis is kind of in between the receiver and the rail. There's no direct metal connection between the scope and the receiver. So I was a little nervous about holding zero, how well it would work. I did have some small deviations from week to week, but I see that even with you can't really see them, my 308s I got up here, I see a little bit of deviation, from one range trip to another. So nothing out of the ordinary there. It did hold zero, did what I needed it to do. It worked really well. It was a 1022 at the end of the day. That's the heart of the gun. I think this is a very goofy chassis, but the gun itself, good old Ruger 1022, did exactly what I needed it to do. I've heard of people having issues with the 25 round mags and saying you need to use the 10s. I used exclusively the 25 rounders. The gun came with 2. I also had to borrow another one so I could have 3. The 2 obviously were brand new, and then the one that I borrowed is 10 years old probably. Like I said, never had a single jam. The gun worked well. I ended up placing second in the league. I won a pistol that we will go over in a later episode. And yeah, the guy who beat me was just going balls out, really. He did very well. There's really nothing I could have done. Even if I had the most accurate gun in the world, I'm just not a good enough shooter to keep up with that guy. So respect to him. The gun did not everything I could have asked for it, but pretty dang close. For a 22, a relatively cheap 22, it did perform well. So anyway, the big issue upon figuring out how to finally getting it fully understanding what I need to do to get this chassis apart to be able to clean it. The biggest issue that I realized that really is like, what the hell are you doing, Ruger? Is that to be able to clean this thing, I have to take the scope off. Super random jump cut here, but there's a couple of screws that, based on where I have my scope at the moment, are actually directly under my scope mounts. So I have to take the scope off to be able to remove the top rail so I can then remove the rest of the clamshell to get into the receiver. It almost seems like, see this little angle back here? The way the rail kind of sits on top here, it's pretty hard to see, but the way the rail sits on top, it almost seems like I should be able to take this loose and just like slide this side of the clamshell out, taking the bolts down here loose as well. It almost seems like that should be possible, but I tried prying on it. I took this bolt out, these bolts out, or I guess not these bolts out. I took this one out, the one in the grip out, and pried on it, and it seems like, geometrically, it seems like it might go, but it just seemed like I was going to break the clamshell, so you do have to take that off, and it is super annoying. So in the end, would I recommend this thing? Do I like it? It's kind of backwards from how they intended it, because of how pain in the ass this is to take down, to break apart, as you will see here in a little bit. If you shoot it a lot and have to clean it a lot, it's actually kind of annoying to have to do. So I'd almost say no. But if this is something you're going to put a scope on it and then you've got it sitting in a closet or something, so if, you know, there's a raccoon out in the yard at night or something, you can grab it and go. In that case, it actually would work. I don't have a problem with it there. You don't need to clean 1022s that often. If it takes you, 5 years to put a few thousand rounds on it, then yeah, I think this chassis would work fine, because you're not having to do it that often. But if you're putting on 1,000 rounds every 6 months and you have to clean it relatively often, it's just annoying to have to take it out and zero it all the time. So yeah, it kind of depends on your use case, what you're using it for. It's kind of the backwards of how they designed it. But anyway, that's enough talking about it, about how it did everything. So let's get down to the breakdown. All right, sorry if you guys noticed a little bit of camera sway. You are quite literally hanging from my ceiling right now. We're going to try and do this Forgotten Weapon style. So, as mentioned, the worst part about this is I need to get to the screws on the rail here. I guess mainly on the receiver, but anyway. Which means I have to take the scope off. So, yes, I'm going to lose my zero here. This sucks, but oh well. Normally, I am not one for quick detach mounts, but in a case like this, you can definitely see where it would be useful. So I don't lose those. Okay, now I need to start taking these off. As usual with taking guns apart, the hardest part is remembering what size Allen wrenches you need. You end up pulling out a million of them every time. Are they metric? Are they standard? I have no idea. Not metric, all right. I can get these apart. Sorry for getting my head in the way. This is my first time doing this, obviously. That is what she said. Or a bow chicka wow wow, rather. If you know, you know. Alright, last time I did this, I took the rail all the way off. Now that I think about it, I actually might not need to take it all the way off. Let me try something here first. So anyway, there's a screw here, here, and on the bottom. You need to get these off. And of course I need another goddamn wrench. Probably not this one. Nope. Oh, wait, what? I might be retarded, guys. You're gonna have to work with me here a little bit. Oh, yep, it was that one. Never mind, just me. Alright, let's see if this is going to play nice or not. Oh, it is. Heck yeah. There are a couple of nuts right in here. These cross bolts, they have a nut just sitting in this pocket right here. It's pretty hard to see. But anyway, you do have to worry about these falling out. So I'll go ahead and slide that back in before I forget about it. Anyway, like I was saying, before first time doing this, I took all of these off, totally separated the rail from the handguard. I do not need to do that. So that is going to save my 0 of my candid sights here. Kind of. I mean, obviously I'm taking it off the rest of the gun. And being on a plastic handguard, not that accurate anyway, but it's one less thing to mess with. So now we need to get this off. So first thing, take my Phillips here to this little screw in the handguard. All right, and this was my big hang up here, is that this is very snug. It feels like it's molded together, attached, glued, I don't know. But this rubber piece here felt like it was very, very solid to the rest of the grip. And I had no idea how to get this apart to save my life. It felt like the grip is what needed to come off, and I couldn't figure out how. Turns out this is a separate piece. It is just very tight going into the rest of the grip. So you really gotta fight it. And the sucky thing is, when you pull down here, you want to kind of push up with your thumb, but this is all one piece. So you really gotta just fight the whole thing to get it. And you can see it is coming off slowly. Ugh, there we go. Not a fun time. All right, and now, if you can see that, there's one more screw right there. Not that one. Could I have planned this out with my wrench sizes earlier? Yes. But we are going on an adventure together. We're going to figure out this wrench size together. There we go. All right, now I got this one loose. Whole grip pops off. And now it is just a regular clamshell. This side comes off with a stock. The right side is by itself. And now we have just a normal 1022 barrel and receiver. Get that out of the way. So 1022s, all I have to do now is knock out these 2 pins to get the trigger group out. And I do not have hunches. I have access to tens of thousands of dollars in tools, just not here. So we're going to do it the super ghetto way. Let's kick loose. Nope, that was pretty loose. Ugh. Maybe if I hit it with my purse, it would come loose. This one. Anybody here who's ever worked on cars or is a machinist or anything is watching me do this and is just in tears right now with how ghetto this is. Sorry guys, I'm too cheap to buy punches because I have access to good ones. Like I said, I just don't have them here where I'm doing this. Ugh. Guess I'm just gonna have to drive this one all the way through. Man, there we go. All right. And trigger group pops right out. So you now have access to the bolt here. If you wanted to be lazy, you could do it here. But at this point, there's no reason not to take this last pin out, which as you can see here, the bolt to come out to get past this rail right here, I need to go back just a little bit further, but you see that pin is what's keeping the bolt from going further back. So that is why I need to knock that out so I can get the bolt all the way out. Oh my god, you're gonna ruin your Allen wrenches. Yeah, I don't care. I have a bajillion of them. It'll be fine. All right, I had to take it off the table and really get after it. This pin did not want to come out. But now that we have that out of the way, our bolt will go far enough back. You can get to pop past, and you kind of just gotta wiggle it up here a little bit. Ow! To get it to come out. And as far as I am concerned, that is the complete disassembly. So this one, I've got probably a few hundred rounds on it since I cleaned it last. It is dirty, not terribly dirty. I've definitely seen worse. Yeah, this does look worse than it is in here, just because this is a cast receiver and it's a little bit rough inside here. This isn't all soot. It's not totally clean, or not totally shiny even when it's clean. So anyway, I mean, cleaning this is literally just wiping it off. A little bit of solvent or WD-40 helps with that. I'm not going to show you how to clean it super easy. But getting the stock off was definitely the hard part. And then once you're there, like I said, with the trigger group and whatnot, knocking out those 3 pins, that's just like any other standard 1022. So more complicated guns will have more complicated reassembly procedures. Certain things you got to do in certain orders, or certain things like you can put parts in backwards. You got to make sure you do it the right way. With this, I mean, watch the video in reverse. It's the exact same process. Bolt in, trigger group in, set it in the clamshell, grip on part 2, put the handguard on. It's all super easy. There's really no nuance to this anywhere. It is, once you figure out how to get this problem child off, this is all very simple. I couldn't find anybody else reviewing like the 1022 tactical, but apparently this is just a standalone stock that they do sell separately. I was able to find someone, well, unfortunately, a bunch of the videos are just people like, hey, opening the box, here's the stock, and it cuts to, oh, okay, here it is all put together. It took me quite a while to find someone to actually shows they were actually putting it together, but I was obviously able to use that to figure out how to put it, or how to take it apart. But anyway, like I said, this is, once you get this off, basically just figuring out how to get this apart. It is all very, very simple. Anyway, I hope someone finds this video useful, possibly even entertaining. Probably not, though. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.